One more thing that is important, possibly, is that normally when you have pallets, you're going to see them like this. It's like pallets aren't just yours. There's other pallets and symbols that have existed before you. It'd probably be on this screen. You just want to get your tool pallets window open, dock it to your side, so when you originally have it open, it's probably going to be like this. Just something. Tool pallets is right up here. It's going to look like this, and it's less useful, in my opinion, when it's like this because there's not as many options you can do to it. So you just drag it over, and I usually put it on the right side, and it just kind of slips right in there nicely. You still get an okay sized model space. If you want to designate specific ones to just show, you just click on the ones. It's only showing the constraints, the geometric constraints and the dimensional constraints. So if you want to do just the RTS and RT digital audio database, which is what I originally had created it as and labeled it as, you click that, and that's how you get these tabs shown just by themselves. And to show you how to do that, again, it's kind of simple. You right-click this tool palette area and you click Custom Pallets. And now you're in the palette window, and it looks a little bit silly at first glance, and it took me a little while to realize because it's kind of a small window in the grand scheme of things. But your pallets will be on the side. These are your actual pallets. And the way that I created an actual group of pallets was I literally just went over here and said New Group. I labeled the group, and then I just dragged in the pallets I wanted to in the particular order I want them to show up there. And the reason of showing you this is because it would be good that every so often you maybe take these and export them. You can import and export these tool palette. If something were to go wrong, say you're trying to install this on your PC, or you're trying to install it and move it over to another one, it's kind of a workaround. If something doesn't go right and it doesn't show up here, or for whatever reason these files are missing, even though you've moved the ACAD folder over as well, then just extract these by clicking extract and picking a location, and then import them on the other machine. And I will have to include these like finalized versions just so that you can make sure you have them. But it pretty much is it's a seamless process once you get it all installed. Once it's on one machine, you'll be fine, because then you can always extract when you need to, if you've created new blocks, whatever. And then these can also be extracted too, but the groups, they're good to extract, but don't think that if you extract one of these drop-down groups, it's going to include the files in between. It only really remembers the name of this group and the order that these ended up in. So if you have lots of different tool palettes in a row, like 50 or more, then yeah, that could be really helpful, because otherwise you have to drag these around. Because you can't drag these tabs around out here, but you can drag them around in here. That's how you change the order of operations there. So that's also something to be kind of aware of. Also, when you make a new tool palette, it doesn't start off with all these spacers and text. You can add those, and I've added these myself. You can go and you can rename them. It's kind of just for extra levels of convenience for yourself, and you might have different reasons. Like I separated the input devices, which includes microphones, soundboards, amplifiers, speakers, cables. If that's useful to you, then do it. If not, then you might not want to, because it could just be extra work. In theory, it might not be useful. Maybe you just do simple things or just simple dividers between, because as long as you don't make these titles too cryptic, you do also have the little icon that you can kind of tell what it is. But then again, fishing through lots of icons in one tab, the main thing is probably these tabs. Putting them into separate tabs somehow, if you were a rental company, for example, or you're doing a project that has to kind of designate for a rental company, you might want to designate, because you're only going to be doing one company's worth. You're not going to separate them by locales, you're going to separate them by types of gear. So like you might have a speaker tab, you might have an amp tab, like that's how you would have it. So it's very customizable. You can rename the palette from out here too. You can do some things from out here, some of the other ones you have to do inside of there. So let's just close down drawing 3. And in the end, yeah, I mean, the end result looks like this. And I mean, I was very pleased with my end results of my drawings. And just beyond that, the speed at which I could get these things out and produce these was also a big part of it. And then again, going beyond that is how quickly you can manipulate. If all of a sudden you're not allowed to use these Ashleys or whatever, or they're broken, or something on the board is no good, like, I don't know, the auxes are all broken, then you can just manipulate it very quickly and on the fly almost. If you have a laptop, you can go in and just, like I said, you just collect. I mean, I'm in a model view. I'm not in the model view right now, but I'm just pretending. You can just select the whole thing and drag them to a different input, like, or output or whatever. You can change the whole thing, and it's very customizable.